From The Selfish Path to Romance, download Chapter 1 for free at drkenner.com.
Look, Jeff, we had 2 wonderful months this summer, but that was it. Happens all the time. Wife and kids go away to the country, and the boss has a fling with the secretary, or the manicurist, or the elevator girl. Come September, the picnic's over. Goodbye. The kids go back to school. The boss goes back to the wife. And the girl? They don't make these shrimp like they used to.
And you know when you get flooded with so much emotion that you just have to switch the topic because you're not ready to talk about it, or you don't want to cry in front of the person. That's one of the many situations that you can pick up the phone and say, how do I handle this situation? My husband had an affair, or I'm having difficulty with a friend, or my parents are driving me crazy, or I don't know how to parent, and I'm just so frustrated, whether it's sadness or anger or guilt or just feeling like you're really down in the dumps. Pick up the phone and give me a call. I'm Dr. Ellen Kenner. My number is toll-free 1-877-DRKENNER. And my website is drkenner.com. We've got podcasts there that you can always listen to. And coming up later on in the show, I will be talking with a woman who basically is an expert. She's a parenting coach herself. And she says your choices as a parent can have a lasting impact, especially when it comes to kids. And think about you and your own parents, and did it have a lasting impact, and in how many ways? Again, I'm Dr. Ellen Kenner. The drop that we heard was from The Apartment. And right now, let's turn to the phones and welcome Eddie. Eddie, you're having some difficulty with a breach of confidentiality?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, what's the situation?
Well, I was down visiting my sister in Florida, and while I was there, she was reading my journal.
With your knowledge or no?
Without my knowledge.
Okay.
And then, to make matters worse, she was making copies of my journal and was sending it back home to my parents with the things I had written down. And I found out she did this, and I confronted my parents about it and said, well, you know, why did you do this? This wasn't right to do this. And they acted like it was no big deal, which she did, and that I should just forget about it. And has me very upset at, what she did.
Well, 2 things would have me infuriated, upset beyond belief in that situation. Mm-hmm. Number 1, that my sister violated my privacy, that she read my private thoughts. A journal, a diary, is your opportunity to express your innermost thoughts and work them out. It doesn't mean it's a finished product. You're not handing it in as a term paper, and you're chewing your ideas. You may not even agree with something one day, or you may feel it very deeply and then the next day put it in perspective. And so for her to have violated your trust like that would infuriate me. The second thing that would infuriate me is that, obviously her sending it to your parents is very bad. The second thing that would infuriate me is your parents treating it like it's nothing. Right. And that's another violation. It's like they're not even validating the pain that you're in. Imagine if your mother had a diary of how she felt about your father and their sex life over the years. Not that you want to think about that. Or your father had a diary of women he was attracted to, that he never told your mom about. And you found it and you just, happened to copy it and send it out with the Christmas cards. They know how bad that is. Now, there are some situations. First, give me, I need an image. How old is your sister?
She's 44.
Oh, my gosh. I thought you were talking about a year. And how old are you?
31.
31. So it's an older sister. Is this a pattern with her? Did she always rush to tell them information?
I really don't know. This is the first time I've ever been aware of her trying to blackmail me and
okay. Explain that.
And destroy my relationship with my parents,
Yeah. Okay. Explain that. What is her motive? First, is there any, before we get to her motive, are there any extenuating circumstances? Sometimes if somebody is in a lot of, suicidal, and a sister reads the diary and sends it to the parents, it may be a lifesaver. much as you hate it.
I wasn't suicidal. She knows I have problems with depression.
Okay.
But I don't think that gives her a right.
No, it doesn't even. With suicide, it's
to go in and read my journal, and I had written things that I was upset at how my parents have been treating me, and then I'd written things that I was upset with how she'd been like giving me a hard time if I ate a soup, salad, or rice and beans, whatever I ate. She would say that's not healthy, and then I finally asked her, could you please stop giving me a hard time about what I'm eating? I said, I don't give you a hard time if you eat ice cream and drink wine. You're old enough to be able to eat and drink whatever you want. I said, can't you respect that for me? And then she completely lost it and blew up on me.
And said what?
She started yelling and screaming and cursing at me, saying, who am I to tell her that? And that I was down there visiting, and she has her job's very stressful, so then maybe that added into it. And she's like, you're at the pool or you're at the beach all day, and she's at her work and stressed out, and she started basically just unloading on me, cursing at me and screaming at me. Who am I to say that? That the nerve that I have to even ask her to tell her to, please stop giving me a hard time about what to eat. I said I'd gotten so uptight I was afraid to even eat anything.
Okay, so she's real controlling. Tell me, what's your main question? What would you like me to address? Because we only have maybe 2 minutes.
How to resolve the issue, because it hurt me even more when I brought it up to my parents, and they acted like I should just forget about it and it's no big deal. And I know that they favor her, and I know she's trying to get me thrown out of the house, I guess.
Do you have a job?
No, I've been going back to college, and we had a house fire. That's what precipitated me going down there to begin with.
So you were living with her?
I was living with my parents. Their house burned down, and they sent me down to stay with her for a few weeks while they straightened things out. And I came back here, and I'm back in college now.
Okay, studying.
I just finished an economics course today. I gave my PowerPoint presentation. I've got about 80 credits. I'm not really sure on a major. I realized if I was successful in society, it would be easier to deal with this situation,
Okay, so the point for you is moving forward, and if you're wanting to help them understand where you're at. If you use your sister's methods, obviously you're going to have a family fire rather than a house fire. Your whole family has been through a lot. It sounds like the stress of just having a house fire is very traumatizing. I'm assuming that was totally accidental.
Yeah, it was an electrical fire while we were sleeping, and all this has just made the stress even worse on, I guess, my parents, myself, and I don't know if
And you want a good
her.
Relationship with your parents again, right? And
I want a good relationship with everyone involved, but I feel like
why don't you start a letter
I'm
like
dealing,
that?
I'm dealing with 3 irrational people.
What if you
who are siding against me? And
okay, because we're down to about a half a minute now. Let me just tell you, you could buy some time, wait a little bit till they cool down and come to their senses. That's one option you have. You could write them a letter even saying that, we're all feeling very stressed right now because of outside situations and because of our relationship. I would love to work on mending it. It sounds like now's not the time. Touch base with me when you feel like it's a better time for you. It's like giving them an engraved invitation to connect with you, and it'll also be their choice, so you're not forcing it. You can also put a little note someplace. I'm hurting about the violation of privacy. I know we're all under a lot of stress. I hope that never happens again. You're just moving forward. So listen, I hope that helps. I wish we had more time.
What should I say to my sister?
Just say I'm hurting a lot right now. Now might not be the best time for us to talk about things. My guess is if I had read your diary and had sent it to Mom, that you would feel sad, very sad about this. Please take some time to think about that and maybe touch base with me when you feel more like you want to connect again.
Okay.
Listen, thank you so much for your call, Eddie.
Okay, have a nice night.
Okay, you too. I'm Dr. Ellen Kenner, and what do you do if you're a teacher with 26 3- and 4-year-olds in the room and the kids won't listen to you? What if you get to the point where you can't take it anymore and you just walk out of your classroom? Coming up, Cornelia Lockich, a current parenting coach, will tell us that about her experience that she had, and now she's a pro.
Here's an excerpt from The Selfish Path to Romance, the Serious Romance Guidebook by clinical psychologist Dr. Ellen Kenner and co-author Dr. Edwin Locke, who's world famous for his theories in goal setting.
Surprises do not have to involve white lies. For example, you can invite your best friends to meet you for dinner on a special occasion without telling your partner. Or you can surprise your partner with a small, thoughtful gift. Or you can have a hot bath ready when your partner comes home from a hard day. But here's a critical caveat. Be sure you know your partner's attitude towards surprises before you consider one, and more specifically, what kinds of surprises your partner likes and does not like. A surprise dinner with friends might not be appreciated, whereas a surprise gift might delight your partner.
You can download Chapter 1 for free by going to drkenner.com, and you can buy The Selfish Path to Romance at amazon.com.